I remember growing up when I was like 14, 15 years old, I would get into this phase where I want to like be really, really disciplined. I want to change my life and I want to like lock in, right? Like I was 14, 15 and I would really get into these phases where I'm waking up early in the morning, I'm training hard. And one of the things I would do in these phases, I would start praying. So like when the azan would go off, I would like make wudu and start praying, right? And I remember like the feeling I would feel inside of me. I would feel like it was just such a beautiful feeling, right? Especially because I was younger. I was definitely like not on deen. Even though I should have been praying, I wasn't praying as much as I should have. Like the most I was doing was like maybe like Jummah once a week, and maybe it was a bit more, you know, when like your grandparents tell you to pray, when your parents tell you to pray, and you basically just do it because you have to. In fact, we should not expose our sins by like, I'll tell you this kind of story. I was still like a kid, right? I was still younger. Like, my mom would tell me to go pray. My mom would tell me to go do this. But what I would do is I would like go. I'd even like I think even make wudu, right? And I would pretend like I prayed, but not actually pray. I genuinely don't know why I did that, but I did do that, right? So, but there were like these times where I would actually pray, like at home, like I would pray Zohar, Asr, right? And I would feel so good. There would be like this like just sense of like fulfillment and peace and comfort inside of me, right? It was like the best feeling ever, and I would do it here and there, and it was really nice. But as I grew older, right, like you want to like prioritize your studies and other stuff like that, I kind of got away. No, I wouldn't say away from praying because I wasn't really on it either way, but like I wasn't praying as much. Even when I became like a lot older, a lot more mature, right? Even when I definitely should have been praying, I was like 18, 19 years old. Or maybe not 19, but like 18, 17 years old. I was supposed to be praying, but I really wasn't. The most, again, I would pray would be like Jummah prayer in the mosque, and then like maybe once here and there, right? And it was super hard for me to like get that habit set, and I didn't have a big focus on it because for some reason I had this like belief that like, oh, if you're really praying, right, you're gonna like, you're righteous people, like Muslims aren't that rich, Muslims aren't that successful. Like if you're too focused on deen, if you're too focused on your prayers, you won't be successful. I had this like negative belief, right? Like, and I think that was a reason, but like obviously there was like shaitan, all those things, and I just wasn't disciplined enough. I didn't know the benefits. I didn't know like why I should be praying, right? I wasn't in touch with my deen. I wasn't in touch with my connection with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as I should have been. But as I got older, right, this is when I'm 18, 19, I started to pray more and more, right? I got more and more on deen. I started to pray like maybe once a day, maybe twice a day, right? And my younger brother was praying at that time, so he was praying like 4 or 5 times a day, or like consistently, right? Maybe he would like wake up late for Fajr, but he was like consistently praying every single day. And honestly, it was like, I wouldn't say that played like a big role, but like it was kind of like a thing there, right? I still didn't have that connection. I still didn't have that desire. But I knew it was something I had to do. I knew it was something I had to build up. And like, you know, your parents tell you to do it as well, right? So it's slowly creeping up on me. And I started to like do it more and more. I started to build up on it more and more. And I would pray like here and there. I would pray a little bit. And honestly, like, I remember like mainly when I was 19, right? So like I had just turned 19. So this would be like almost 2 years ago. So I had just turned 19. And that's when I got more on prayers, right? Like I had like certain events and stuff like that in my personal life, and I remember I was like, yeah, basically like a week after I turned 19, we won't go into details, but like I started to pray. I remember like something happened. I went to like I walked over to like the toilet, I made wudu, I came back and I was praying, and I remember like specifically talking to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in sajda, right? Like really just opening my heart up to Allah and like really developing that connection. And I think that was like the FTE. That was like the event that really started it. That really like that it gave me the activation energy, and that's where I like really started to like praying, enjoy praying, and like develop that connection with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And I wasn't as consistent then either, right? It was up and down, but slowly but surely I got better and better with it. I started to pray more and more, and I got like into kind of like a good decent habit, right? Especially in Ramadan, came about like a couple months after, and I was praying then, going to the mosque, stuff like that. It really started to ramp up. It really started to build up. And like a year after, I was pretty consistent with it, right? I went to Umrah, stuff like that, and I had that like good level of iman. I had that good level of connection. And then I got like serious with my business, right? And when you're starting a business, when you're growing a business, it's actually very, very difficult. It's actually really, really hard. Like business in general is really, really hard, but it's like when you're starting, there are so many doubts, there are so many things you don't have clarity on, there are so many things you don't know, so it's hard to figure out those things at the start, right? So I was basically building that up. I was basically like getting closer and closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in that way. And because I was struggling in business, right, I was just confused, I didn't have clarity. It helped me in my prayers as well, and my prayers helped me with my business. Like every day I looked forward to the time of prayer, right? Like you know, I would wake up, I'd pray Fajr, and then I'll be working, I'll be a bit stressed, and I was like, okay, it's gonna be Zuhr time, I can't wait to go pray. I'll pray, even though I should be praying in the mosque. Like I think that's definitely something I need to work on. I'm not perfect, I don't think I will be, obviously, but like definitely, right, I would be looking forward to that time of prayer and stuff like that. It's something I wanted to get done, and I would want to have that conversation with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And if you are someone who's struggling with praying, and this is like an advice I like to remind myself as well, right? It's a reminder for myself as well, that you need to look at prayer not as like just this action that you need to do as a robot, just like some box you need to get ticked off, but it's a conversation with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It's like, you think about it, it's like you're literally like on the phone. Think about it, like think about it, you're basically on the phone, you're on a call, on like a FaceTime with the creator of this world, with the creator who created you and everything else you know to exist, right? You're literally on a call with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You're literally on a call with Allah, your creator, everything, right? It's like, it's so powerful, just that. And like when you're reciting Surah Fatiha, when you say Allahu Akbar at the start, when you're saying Allahu Akbar, Allah is the greatest, initially you're just saying everything else in this dunya, including you, everything else you know in your life that is so important, that you're stressing about, all of these things, none of them are more important than Allah. Allah is the greatest. And when you're reciting Surah Fatiha, right, you're having that conversation with Allah. Like Allah is like, in a way, He's literally like, He's hearing you, you're standing in front of Him, you're reciting Surah Fatiha, and Allah's like, oh, my slave has praised me, right? There is that connection. And as soon as you understand that when you're reciting Surah Fatiha, and I'll tell you like 100%, like go research, like, oh, if you don't know Arabic, if you don't know like the meaning, understand what you are reciting, and like you will even find like, okay, like here you are praising Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, here in this part you're asking Allah to guide you. All of those things will help you develop that connection when you're actually praying, when you're actually in salah, right? When you're speaking to Allah, that in itself will help you pray more. That in itself will develop that level of khushu', right? That level of connection and that nice, comforting, tranquility feeling, right? That I can't explain, but you know what I mean. That will help you with that. But think about it, like, why would you not pray? It's an opportunity 5 times a day or even more for you to get on the phone with your creator, and for you to like have that conversation. And even if you do pray, even if you do pray 5 times a day and that's not a problem for you, I promise you there are still things that you're not doing right. Not in like the way you pray, but your focus, your level of connection, your like mind wanders, right? It does with so many people, with everyone. Like almost 99.99% of like humans today have that problem. Your mind has wandered by the time you've watched this video. When you are in a conversation with your mom, the one who birthed you, who raised you before you were like, when you were so helpless, even when you are having that conversation with her, your mind wanders, your thought goes to here, your thought goes to there. I'll admit it, I'll be the first one to admit it. It happens with me, right? Like whenever I'm having a conversation with someone, my mind will go somewhere else, my thoughts will go somewhere else. And a part of that is like our phones, it's social media. You're always on like YouTube shorts or TikTok or Instagram, and you're quickly like, our attention spans are hideous. And that's why when you are praying, you have that problem as well. Like you're praying and you might have a certain level of like connection, and then you're thinking about business or you're thinking about something else, and you're randomly just going through the actions. That is something that you have to like consciously work on. It's going to be a lifelong journey, but you need to start it right now. That even if you are praying 5 times a day, you need to be like focused on your connection. Okay, I'm here, Take deep breaths. Have that connection. Have that like, okay, here I am, I'm speaking to Allah. Okay, like I'm going down. All right, like I'm gonna make this dua. I'm speaking to Allah. Take your time with it. Do not rush through it. And this will just not only help you develop that connection with Allah, this will not only help you enjoy your prayers more, but it will also help you in every other area of your life as well, with your level of discipline, your level of consistency, your risk, how you're focused on your business, how you feel about your business, how you are in this emotional state, how you deal with your relationships. And like, I believe this is a hadith, I'll put it up here. Like, so the Holy Prophet, peace be upon him, said that the first thing we are going to be asked for on the day of judgment is our prayers. And if our prayers are good, everything else behind it will be good as well. So if you're struggling with certain sins, you're struggling just in general in life, I promise you, if you fix your salah, Allah will fix you in yourself. Because everything, like your salah, your prayers are like the base of the pyramid, right? They're the foundation. And as long as you focus on that, as long as you prioritize that and you build up from there, you're praying on time, you're praying in the mosque, you're praying with this like great level of connection, you're genuinely focused in your prayer every second of it, you're taking your time, you remind yourself every time, oh, I'm speaking to Allah, oh, I'm talking to Allah, I'm having that connection with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Then like I promise you, your life will change. It's changed for me, right? I've grown this like business, I've grown this channel to like almost 10,000 followers. We're gonna hit 100k at some point, inshallah. It's like everything you want will come into reality if you focus on your connection with Allah, if you focus on your prayers. And before you even get to the prayer, if you are someone who is struggling with your video connection, if you are struggling with like having that level of khushu, what you need to focus on is like, before you even get to the prayer, it's when you're making wudu, your wudu is like directly related to your prayer, it's related to your iman. So if you can really like take your time with your wudu, right, and maybe put the water pressure down less, right, which is something I don't do, which I probably should, but taking your time, making sure you're cleaning yourself right, you're getting the water on all the right areas, you're going through it slowly, and you're being really present, you're really feeling the water, you're really feeling it on your body and stuff like that. Take your time, you're right. Okay, then maybe you pray some sunnah prayers before you go into your third, so you kind of like warm yourself up, right? Like you get your brain ready, like your mind wanders, you bring it back, and you really focus, and you really like kind of meditate back onto your prayer, meditate back onto your connection with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You will feel such a greater connection. You make and give your prayers like they're like 5 a day, right? Give them like 10-15 minutes of like, okay, of this whole process. I'm gonna make wudu, I'm gonna have that, I'm gonna set my intention, okay, I might pray some sunnah prayer, I'm gonna warm myself up, right? Have that, and then like make this like this nice special event. And don't ever think like, oh, I don't have 10 minutes, bro, I have to rush through it, I can't give it like 15 minutes, I have stuff to do, bro. I promise you, like the time you will give to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the time you will dedicate to your deen, to your iman, all of these things will just add extra barakah to the rest of your day. It's the best thing you can do. You'll get such an insane ROI on your time that you spend on your deen, the time you spend on your connection with Allah, whether that's in your prayers, reciting Quran, all of these things. And this is something I need to like remind myself all the time as well, right? Because like when you listen to these kuffar influencers, you listen to all these people like, oh yeah guys, like, oh, make sure every second of your day is dedicated to your work 12 hours, don't take any time off, this is a distraction, do this. When you listen to those guys, you're like, okay, maybe I should pray faster, maybe I should not go seek knowledge, maybe I should not go learn Arabic so I can understand my prayers better, so I can learn the Quran better. No, I should be super optimized on business. When you have that mindset, you are so much like, you move away from your deen, and that removes the like fundamental principle of our life, right? If we can't be focused on deen, if that can't be our number one priority, nothing else matters, right? And when you are focused on deen, when you are giving it your time through like your prayers, you're giving them like that extra time, you're putting that extra focus, you will get barakah for it on the rest of your day. So I hope this video was valuable for you. I want to thank you for the time. Go watch the video on the screen. Bye.